So a reminder that Sunday is an all-day sitting, please come. And we will be celebrating Buddha's birthday. We, as I know you're aware, have been focusing on, as Dogen would say, it's birth and death, or birth death. Our focus has been more on death, but on Sunday, we're going to focus on birth because nothing's what you think it is. And if you think you can have one without the other, and if you think it's not happening every moment and it's graspable, you're going to miss the mystery of it all. So today is our last time of focusing on birth and death. We'll begin next week with Thich Nhat Hanh's commentary on the Anapanasati Sutta, which is about breathing, the awareness of breathing, and it's entitled it's called "It's Alive," which seemed like a good other side of the koan to "It's dead." No. It's alive, and if we're alive, let's pay attention and be alive. And Debbie and Chelsea and Marianne will be helping me some with that too, which will be fun and nice. So part of what we're going to do today, and we'll work our way towards it, is we're going to do it will be a more informal Jizo ceremony. I offer, along with Jennifer Block, Jizo ceremonies at Green Gulch at this point now twice a year. And they're all in person. We used to do them online during the pandemic too, but in the spring and the fall, one is coming up in the spring. Anyway, any of you would be welcome. But little Jizo, and there's a Jizo on the altar that I brought that I made. I don't know if we can. Here's Jizo. I made that Jizo with Susan Spencer. Susan Spencer is our local Jizo person. What I want to start with from the Shobogenzo, the Moon and Dewdrop is, there's many different versions, but this one's an easy one. The writings of Zen Master Dogen, translated by Kaz Tanahashi. Just read a little bit. We did some of this on Tuesday. Birth and death, Soji. This birth and death is the life of a Buddha. If you try to exclude it, you will lose the life of a Buddha. Don't think you can go around it. If you cling to it, trying to remain in it, you will also lose the life of a Buddha. And what remains will be the mere form of Buddha. So you can't grasp it. It's ungraspable. And if you try to grasp it, that's not it. But if you think you go more towards emptiness, that's not it either. So what is it? Only when you don't dislike birth and death or long for them do you enter Buddha's mind. Only when you don't dislike birth and death or long for them do you enter Buddha's mind. However, do not analyze or speak about it. Don't think you can figure this out. Just set aside your body and mind. Forget about them and throw them into the house of Buddha. Then all is done by Buddha. We're going to talk about that some more because it doesn't mean forget about it. It doesn't mean dissociate. It doesn't mean leave your body. It means be right here. When you follow this, you are free from birth and death and become a Buddha without effort or calculation. Who then continues to think? We know the phrase from Dogen, think not thinking, or think non-thinking. You cannot figure this out with your conceptual mind. There is a simple way to become a Buddha. when you refrain from unwholesome actions, precepts, are not attached to birth and death. I want it, I didn't want it. And are compassionate towards all sentient beings. Be respectful to seniors, honor people who have some kind of wisdom or at least have been around for a while. Be kind to juniors, not excluding or desiring anything, with no designing thoughts or worries, and you will be called a Buddha. Do not seek anything else. So basically, pay attention to your actions of body, speech, and mind. Be kind. Be respectful. I looked up respectful once. The word of respectful is to look again. Be willing to look again and again. What is it? Who are you? What are you projecting? So we didn't do, but I'm going to bring forward. There are so there's a tradition of doing death poems. Debbie actually brought me this book of Japanese death poems. Here, I'll show them too. And you can write your own death poem. When Steve Sticky died, you always been asked him to write the death poem. You can find it online. There are beautiful. It's like you're at the end of your life. What is your death poem? You could write one now and imagine it, and it would probably be different tomorrow. And I could almost guarantee it'll be different when we're further down the line if we get the time and the opportunity to do that. Here's one. It was in the newsletter too. Empty-handed I entered the world, barefoot I leave it. My coming and going, two simple happenings that got entangled. That's Kozan Ejikyo, 14th century Zen monk. So we come in barefoot. Where do babies come from? It's like, what was your face before you were born as a Zen koan? What in the world is going on here? It's like, oh, and where do we both go? I mean, that'll keep you busy for the rest of your life, trying to think about that one. And you can't think it, but you can keep asking, what is it? And what is it that no coming and going is, it's already right here. And then form appears and form disappears, and it's happening each moment. And then, of course, because we're human beings, we come in and we get all entangled in it. Because we come in with karma. I mean, who knows what we do, but that's one way to describe it, is we come in with our likes and our dislikes and our conditioning and everything we were brought up in, and then we're all entangled. And Dogen talks about untangling the tangle. You can't miss or skip the entanglement. That's part of being human. That's what a bodhisattva does. If you wake up right in the midst of the entanglements, it's like you go, oh, thank you, entanglement. Although sometimes, of course, we all know that when you struggle in entanglements, things get tighter, and anyway, that's part of how we wake up. So I thought I would continue. I think I did it here on Thursday, but I can't remember. This book, In Love with the World, A Monk's Journey Through the Bardos of Living and Dying. Subhana brought forward in the very beginning Poa practice and the bardos. The Tibetans have very specific practices around dying, which aren't, Zen doesn't do that. It just says Zen just says sitsasa. It will teach you everything you need to know. But it's also really helpful because the Tibetans have such a developed view. And as Subhana did, and maybe, I don't remember if it was Erica or who, is like, imagine your death, or what you would like to envision or help someone envision as they were dying. The Tibetans are very specific about it. So, and it's interesting that it's called not Journey Through Dying, but Living and Dying. There it is again. So let me So my understanding, I haven't read this whole book, but my husband did, and I've gone through parts of it, and I know Christine has too. Is that he is what he is, he's a young Tibetan Lama who's very respected. And who decided that he wanted, because the monks are brought up and very protected in the temple, is that he was gonna sneak out of the temple. Because he wanted to go see what was life was like out there, kind of like what the Buddha did. And he gets very, very ill and almost dies. And he describes the process in this. And he also describes that, you know, he's very, very well trained. It's like the Dalai Lama said, I've been being trained for this my whole life, and probably at the end I'll blow it. Well, he describes how his very human body gets confused and afraid, and you know, his training was there, but there was something important here for him to learn. So in the midst of through my training, I knew that change was always happening. Feeling trapped, stuck, and immobile, which I think is what he was feeling when he decided to leave. These are self-fabricated stories. We have the innate capacity to liberate ourselves from these numbing descriptions. We all have descriptions that are small, that shut down and make us small and limit our perception of the world. We really do change every second, like everything else in our visible and invisible worlds. 50 to 70 billion cells in our bodies die every day, allowing for billions of new cells to take fleeting existence. It's why you have to go beyond. The mind can't, it's like, wow. Life occurs on an ocean of death. Without death, there is no life. If we wake up to this reality, we can actively direct what comes next and not just passively accept false conclusions of what feels inevitable. My intention, mine, his, yours, is to stay present in open awareness, to stay aware of whatever is happening, and to rest in that awareness. Within the recognition of awareness, I acknowledge the sound of heavy rain, the sound of wind, the sensations of wetness, of bad smells, of standing. I was not reaching out towards any sensation nor withdrawing, not getting lost. I thought I'd just give you prompts, meditations. How about if we just take a minute, take a breath, and I'll just read some of these. Awareness of the coolness of the air on entering the nostrils. And awareness of the warmness of the air on exhaling. Awareness of the heart beating. Awareness of the blood circulating. Awareness of the belly expanding. Contracting. Awareness of the chest expanding. Contracting. My body is moving, changing. This breath is coming in and going out, changing. I am breathing in new air, changing. I am breathing out old air, changing. I am part of this universe. This air is part of this universe. With each breath, the universe changes. With each inhale, the universe changes. With each exhale, the universe changes. Each inhale fills my lungs. Each inhale brings oxygen to my blood, changing, body changing. Each sensation is temporary. Each breath temporary. Each rising and falling temporary. All changing, transforming. With each exhale, the old me dies. With each inhale, the new me is born. Becoming, renewing, dying, rebirth, change. As my body is changing, so are those of everyone I know. The bodies of my family and friends are changing. The planet is changing. The seasons are changing. Political regimes are changing. The whole universe is changing. In, out, expansion, contraction. Bing. Beyond concepts, beyond fixed mind, no longer bound to any sense of a distinct body or mind. No separation between me, my mind, my skin, my body, and the entire rest of the world. As a drop of water placed in the ocean becomes indistinct, boundless, unrecognizable, and yet still exists, so our mind merges with space. No longer a matter of me seeing trees, becoming trees. Me and trees are one. Trees are not the object of awareness. They are manifested awareness. Stars are not the object of appreciation, but appreciation itself. No separate me loving the world. The world is love. My perfect home, vast and intimate. Every particle alive with love, fluid, flowing without barriers. I am an alive particle. No interpretive mind, clarity beyond ideas, vibrant, energetic, all-seeing, awareness not going out toward anything, yet everything appearing. As an empty mirror both receives and reflects everything around it. A flower appears in the empty mirror of the mind, and the mind accepts its presence without inviting or rejecting. Every form appears and disappears, and moves through and within boundless spaciousness, coming from nowhere, going nowhere, without origin, without destination, spontaneously present. Phenomena within space cannot truly exist separate from space. The duality is not real. What we call death is not the end. Abdomen arising and falling, death and rebirth. Now is dying, last breath is dying, unborn awareness cannot die. Unborn awareness exists with and beyond our bodies. Death is an illusion, and living is also an illusion. Death and dying and birth are only concepts. Our perception shape differences and distinctions. And then he says, in parting, I would like to give you one small piece of advice to keep in your heart. I think I read this, I can't remember which day. You may have heard me say this before, but it is the key point of the entire path. Just so we don't go floating out into space, dissolving as little particles. Please know we are. Trust that taste when you can taste it. And then come back. All that we are looking for in life, all the happiness, contentment, and peace of mind is right here in the present moment. Our very own awareness is itself fundamentally pure and good. It's really important. Our very own awareness itself is fundamentally pure and good. Everything is perfect, whole, and complete. This is not a sin-based perception. Everything is goodness. The only problem is that we get so caught up in the ups and downs of life that we don't take the time to pause and notice what we already have. Don't forget to make space in your life to recognize the richness of your basic nature, to see the purity of your being and of all beings, and to let its innate qualities of love, compassion, and wisdom naturally emerge. Nurture this recognition as you would a small seedling. Allow it to grow and flourish. Ding. Okay, now you got it. Practice it well, forever. Jizo, little Jizo Bodhisattva. The amazing thing about Jizo is Jizo moves freely between form and emptiness and between the realms. Jizo doesn't get caught up in this birth, death, hell run thing. And in fact, Jizo, if somebody's suffering, Jizo is most happy to go towards hell realms. It's like, oh, then I could really be of help. Because the more you know how deeply interconnected everything is, you of course want to take care of and respond to everything. And we also have human capacities and limitations, you know, this is like pay attention. And we have models like Jizo, and Jizo especially is at the crossroads of living and dying. Which is why it's so powerful to do a Jizo ceremony and to do it with people when they're in grief, which is when you're in grief. I remember reading somewhere an African commentary, and I think it's true about John traditions, is just knowing that people are in grief are at the crossroads, they're at the edge. You're open. That's why it's so hard to be in the world. Because you're kind of dwelling where Jizo does, except human beings can't dwell there forever. We have to come back. Jizo just, the great thing about Jizo that I love is I used to think, because little Jizo has this smile. It's like, I thought, oh, excuse me for my, so I thought, oh, the Japanese just kind of prettied it up, you know, and made this little smiling being because that's what you do with little smiley figures. But Jizo actually is happy because Jizo doesn't get caught and entangled, or is free in the midst of entanglement. So Jizo is fearless. It's like, how can I help? Great little helper to have Jizo in here. We gave them to the firefighters, they put them in their pockets. You know, it's like we gave them to the vets take, it's like, it's really helpful. Just you can carry a little red stone or whatever. Jizo's good helper. Jizo's innocent. Because Jizo isn't conditioned or held by the past, isn't like, I'm not going in there because I got 100 million memories of all the bad things that could happen or people that told me. It's just like, oh, the world's wide open. It's love. It's goodness. Here I am. Jizo is playful. Go figure. Such a great teaching. Is suffering, being with suffering, your own and other suffering doesn't mean like, oh God, it's just, I mean, when there's grief and it's heavy, please, there's grief and there's heaviness. But Jizo also says, I think that's part of what happens is we get attached to a mind state too after a certain point, and then we don't know how to kind of quote come back. Jizo just says it's okay, you know, you can appreciate the beam of spring light and the new blooming rose, and you can also acutely feel the pain of the world. You don't have to pick and choose. Jizo is full of kindness and love, stability and resolve. To me, I just think, thank you, Jizo Bodhisattva, for being in this world with all of us. There's a sutra, Jizo Sutra, and I actually hadn't put this together before, but the sutra, at the end of the sutra, Buddha is on the point of entering nirvana, which means from the point of view of the people on earth, Buddha's dying. Which is, you can imagine, a lot of people are not so happy about the fact that Buddha is dying. And in the sutra, Buddha says, don't worry. I mean, and in the Kitsanagarbha Jizo Sutra, it's just don't worry because Jizo will always be here to help. The teachings are always here. And Jesus will always help you no matter where you are. Even in the difficult age, the ends of time, no matter how bad, you may think, oh man, we are in the end of time. What is going on here? Don't worry, Jesus is here. Don't worry, practice is here. Don't worry, goodness is here. That's our job, I think, as bodhisattvas. So let's put up, I wanted to, some of you know this, the Jizo mantra, which I think is very beautiful and very soothing. You can take it with you anywhere. I take it in traffic, you can take it anywhere.
Chris, do you want me to continue recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just chant it a couple times, you can join in if you want. Om Ga 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 Vi San Ma E So. Om Ga Ga Vi San Ma E So. Om Ga 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 Vi San Ma E So. Om Ga Ga Vi San Ma E So. So we can take that down, and what I would like to ask us to do now is on these pieces of paper, write down prayers, wishes, the people who have died. You could just write a name, so you could be particularly in your awareness. You may be aware of a situation on the earth right now. It's funny. It's funny.
Chris, could you please repeat that? It was hard to hear you.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
On pieces of paper, you can write specific names of people who have died that you would like to send love and good wishes towards. We're gonna give these to Jizo. And Jizo can take it back and forth. Jizo says, oh, yummy, yummy. They're giving me some bodhisattva work to do. So if you would like to send good wishes to Gaza, if you would like to send good wishes to Ukraine, if you have particular people in your heart who have died, write their names on here. That's why you have more than one piece of paper. If you want to just write a prayer for the world. And you just like Jesus to take it out and spread it everywhere. Just take a few minutes, okay? And just write our little prayer cards here. We're writing names, constants, and prayers, or wherever we would like Jesus to be able to bring love and goodness and safety and protection. And when you're complete, you can fold it up and fold the papers up a little bit. what's the name of the book, and it says, I spelled it wrong, or it corrected me, it's Yonggi Yingmer Yinbashing in Love with the World, and Most Journey Through the Gardens of Living God. So I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do next, and it will take us right up to the end. Actually.
You want me to put the Heart Sutra up? Okay.
So the Heart Sutra, as we've talked about, is the sutra in Zen that traditionally you do when someone is dying or when someone has died, because it exactly Heart Sutra plays in form and emptiness. If it's not form, it's not emptiness. Don't ignore either one. Just don't get stuck there either. It really is a loving kindness sutra. It's just, it can seem a little more obscure, but it's a mantra. And what I'm going to suggest is that the people here, in the room, just come forward. You can come forward one at a time. I think we're okay with time. You just do a little bow and put your prayer in the bowl on the altar while we're chanting the Heart Sutra together. People online, please chant, and you can go forward to your altar at home and do a little bow and put your prayer on the altar. And then we'll come to the end of the Heart Sutra together. And I think we'll have a little bit of time that we can do the final mantra, which is when someone dies, you do the final mantra 108 times. I mean, you don't have to, but it's actually a really beautiful thing to do. But that also means when someone lives, you do it, which means you do it all the time. It's like, it's just, I think mantras and dharmas are really, really helpful, and they don't have to make sense. Because mostly when you try to make sense of this life, if you're paying attention, you're gonna hit a wall. Then you go beyond. So, we could just start and why don't we just do it one, we can start over there, and all of you can at home, chant and put your prayers on your altar. Heart of great perfect wisdom sutra.
Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, deeply practicing Prajnaparamita, clearly saw that all five aggregates are empty and thus relieved all suffering. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness, and emptiness does not differ from form. Form itself is emptiness, emptiness itself form. Sensations, perceptions, formations, and consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked by emptiness. They neither arise nor cease, are neither defiled nor pure, neither increase nor decrease. Therefore, given emptiness, there is no form, no sensation, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no sight, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of mind consciousness. There is neither ignorance nor extinction of ignorance, neither old age and death nor extinction of old age and death. No suffering, no cause, no cessation, no path, no knowledge, and no attainment. With nothing to attain, a bodhisattva relies on Prajnaparamita, and thus the mind is without hindrance. Without hindrance, there is no fear. Far beyond all inverted views, one realizes nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future rely on prajna paramita and thereby attain unsurpassed, complete, perfect enlightenment. Therefore know the prajna paramita mantra, the great miraculous mantra, the great bright mantra, the supreme mantra. He who becomes
suffering and is true, not
false. Therefore we proclaim the prajna paramita mantra, the mantra that says, Gate, gate, para, gate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. 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 Gate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha.
birth and death, living and dying. Don't miss it. Means being alive and awake in each moment. This is Steve Sticky's death poem. I should say gate means gone, gone, gone beyond, hallelujah, which is each moment. It's like, hallelujah, free, free, free at last, not caught and bound in the entanglements. And we just have moments that we understand. And then we go back into the entanglements. And who knows what happens when you die? When you're born, it's like, I always have this feeling, these stories, you wake up to think, oh, when I die, I'm gonna want to come back again. Like, what, I want to come back again and help people, And I'm gonna think it's such a good idea, and then I'm gonna get here and I'm gonna think all over again.
Yeah.
All over again, and that's why we need each other, and that's why we need practice to help us remember and wake up to what we already know, and that there is no coming and going, and there is coming and going. So here's Steve. I was so happy when this is my little confession and stuff, and that is, I was really good friends with Steve's wife. And I mean, I can't even begin to tell you the grief and sorrow. I mean, you can't even, and I hope I was completely there for her and her grief. And for Steve, I was just happy. I knew he was so sad. I mean, I knew his grief. And in the end, I just knew it was so hard, and that he had spent his whole life for this moment, and that I felt joy for him. So you can feel, you don't have to pick and choose in this. So this human body truly is the entire cosmos. Each breath of mine is equally one of yours, my darling. This tender abiding is my life, and is the fierce glowing fire of inner earth, linking with all pre-phenomena, flashing to the distant horizon, from right here now to just this. Now the horizon itself drops away. Slowly, soft. That's what you do, isn't it? You follow it all the way to the end. And when you die, there's no in-breath that seems to be perceivable on this side, whatever any of these words mean. And if you're alive, you just, the next one, there's an in-breath that happens. It's like, oh, no, okay, let's not waste the same. So thank you, everybody, for this journey, and everybody for helping, and for everyone who brought forward their hearts and their experiences and their grief and your practice and your love and your goodness. And we'll continue next week, and Thich Nhat Hanh will help us breathe and remember that we're alive, which is, it's a spring day. Let's not miss it. Oh, and what I will do with these prayers that are here is I have a Jizo tree in my garden where for about 15 years I've been bringing Jizo offerings from the Jizo ceremonies that I've done at Great Gulch and Tassajara and other places. And I will go and tuck these in the tree, and they will become part of the Jizo tree and will be sent out everywhere. And for those of you at home, you can keep them on your altar. You can go find. You can also just write little Jizo prayers, and it's really fun to like go walk in the neighborhood or wherever you live. Please, I mean, it's like the world is worrying, but also just write little prayers and talk about it. Like, just go, okay, I'll help them. We all need our help. So thanks, everybody.